Well, hey, it's time for Ask the Tech Guys. Today, it's just Ask the Tech Guy. Like a sergeant has the day off. We got lots of questions, including how do I search through my ringtones to find out who I've assigned them to? How do I use my photo library to figure out what year a photo was taken? And we'll visit with the Gizwiz with some more cool lights. He loves those LEDs you can stick everywhere. Ask the Tech Guys coming up next.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Ask the Tech Guys with Micah Sargent and Leo Laporte. Episode 2026. Recorded Sunday, May 26th, 2024. Swedish death cleaning. Well, hey, how are you today? It's time for Ask the Tech Guy. Mike is not feeling too well today, so he's taking the day off. So it's just me. Sorry, that's all you got. Just me. 888-724-2884 is the number. I'd love to hear from you. If you want to call in and ask a question, make a comment, make a suggestion. If you want to use your smartphone and zoom in, it's called twit.tv. We have emails and we have videos and audios and all sorts of stuff. So we're going to get to the calls in just a bit, about 45 minutes from now. Okay, make it half an hour. Coming up at when that clock says 12:00, so 32 minutes from right now, Dick DeBartolo, Mad's Maddest Writer, and the Giz Fizz will give us a gizmo or a gadget. We'll also show you how you can win a copy autographed like this. Mad Roasts Comedy. Oh, that'll be fun. Well, there it is. Look at that. How did you do that? That's magic. Did you see the Tom Brady roast? Whew. You know who did see it? His wife, ex-wife. Not happy. Very not happy. It was the roast was apt. A lot of burning going on. Sad day. We should commemorate today because you remember the Doge. How much Dogecoin did you have? I still have it. You still have it? 20,000. Oh, nice. Now, there was a peak on the Dogecoin, was there not? Where you could have become a millionaire? It got up to 70 cents?
78 cents when right before Elon Musk hosted Saturday Night Live.
And then went right downhill after that. Did he do something that made the Dogecoin less valuable?
He mentioned the Dogecoin on a Saturday Night Live
and that
sketch.
did it, huh?
Yes.
He said things that made it jump up.
And then when it jumps up, everything that goes up must come down. So you missed your opportunity is what happened. Is that what you're saying? Well, the Doge passed this week. Kabosu, the side-eyed Shiba Inu who inspired the Doge meme. He lived to a happy 18 years. There's the picture. You've all seen that picture. And then remember that what happened with the Doge thing that they said, he started talking funny, like, he would say things like, much sad, very in rainbow-colored Comic Sans. Kabosu was among a pack of 19 Shiba Inus sent to a Japanese dog shelter after the shutdown of a puppy mill. He was adopted by a pet-loving kindergarten teacher. There's a difference. In 2008, and she began posting on her blog. By the way, her blog is still there. And, of course, a tribute to the Doge on the blog. So just a little pause, eat a milk bone in honor of Kabosu. But 18 is a good long time for a Shiba Inu. So that's story number one. I'm sure I prepared that for Micah because I'm sure he'd have shed a little tear. He's at home shedding a tear. Here's one to pour out for the guy who tracks Taylor Swift's private jet. Congress just made that impossible. Well, it's not just Tay-Tay. It's any millionaire who wants to make their private, or billionaire. I guess you have to be a billionaire, right, to have a private jet. You got to have a lot of money. An amendment in the FAA reauthorization bill was passed last week that allows private aircraft owners to anonymize their registration information. Signed into law May 16th, passed in the Senate. There are a lot of Taylor Swift fans in the Senate. 88-4. Nothing passes the Senate 88-4 these days. That's remarkable. The House, 387-26. That's as close to unanimous as you can get. The whole jet tracking thing, which Elon Musk called assassination coordinates, right? Taylor Swift wasn't that happy about it. I think it was kind of interesting because you could see how much these very wealthy people were flying around in their little personal jets. Jack Sweeney was a college kid, University of Florida, who made a Twitter account in 2020, Elon Jet, that was tracking Elon's jet. Musk famously threatened to sue him and then pulled the account down. And he went on to Mastodon. By the way, he's back on X. You know that it's not Twitter anymore. The transition is official now. I even saw a little notice at the bottom of the screen when I went there. Occasionally I check and just see how Elon's doing. And it says, nope, not Twitter. It's X.com now. I'm thinking I'm the only person in the world who's happy about this because Twit was founded, 3 or 4 years before Twitter. We even had the founder of Twitter on the show, Ev Stone, and I asked him, why did you because Ev, was it Ev, not Stone, Ev Williams. Ev had before Twitter, he had a podcast app called Audio. That was his big thing, Audio. And then Apple created its own podcast app, iTunes, and it was like, oh, forget it. Oh, no, forget it. So Ev is very interesting. He gave all the investors money back for Audio, shut it down, and started Twitter. So I know that Ev knew everything there was to know about Twit because we were very big on his Audio podcast app. So when he came on our show shortly after founding Twitter, I said, Ev, why'd you call it Twitter? You knew there was Twit. That's confusing. He said, I didn't think either of us were going anywhere. I didn't think either of us were going to ever make it, so it really wouldn't matter. Well, after years of explaining to people, we even had a little paragraph we used to carry around. Twit is not Twitter. We were founded before Twitter. They took our name. We're a podcast network. They're a social media network. We had to explain it every time we called somebody. Hi, it's Leo calling from Twitter? Still get that. In fact, my iPhone still, every time I type Twit, says, no, you mean Twitter. I said, no, I mean Twit. Anyway, so I'm happy. It's back. It's X. And Taylor's happy because now, here's, by the way, how much Tay-Tay flies around. She's got 2 private jets, and she does a lot of flying. Well, of course she does. She's got concerts. She's got a boyfriend in Kansas City. That's why she's stopping right there. And she makes a lot of trips to Kansas City. There you go. Kansas City. Back and forth to Kansas City. Oh, wait a minute. Got to go to Florida. Nope. Now let's go. Nope. Back to Kansas City. Nope. Whoop. 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 She has 2. She needs 2 because why? There's only one of her. Anyway, this beautiful graphic will never happen again because we will never know where her mysterious, you know what, she might not. She'd have to change her tail number, wouldn't she? We know the tail number. And finally, speaking of jet flight, this is Memorial Day weekend. A day to remember those who gave their all in the service of our country. It also happens to be a really big weekend for air travel, apparently. On Friday, the Transportation Safety Administration screened the largest number of airline passengers ever. 2.95 million people flew somewhere on Friday. That makes it the biggest travel day of all time. It looks like this summer is going to be a big travel summer. They've been breaking records, ever since COVID ended. It ended, right? I did see a study that said it's still a good idea to wear a mask, especially on a longer flight. I'm just saying. All right, let us go to the phones in just a little bit. 888-724-2884. You're watching Ask the Tech Guys. The Ask the Tech Guy singular. I am not traveling because I don't want to join those 3 million people flying back and forth. I'm staying right here. I hope you'll stay right here and join us. 888-724-2884. Mr. John Ashley, I am going to let you produce.
Okay.
Since that is your title.
Well, so before we actually go to the phone calls, there's actually a voicemail I wanted to play for us because it was actually a follow-up question to one that you took a couple weeks ago.
Let's hear it.
Hey, Leo, this is Manuel from Tampa. I'm calling you back because a couple weeks ago I left you a message about my Mac losing Safari after I installed the latest update of the software.
Yeah.
So I got an update. My solution was to take it back to the Apple Store, and they completely wiped it up and basically left me with a brand new operating system. And that made Safari work again. But when I started bringing my files back from my backup, I had the same problem again. I lost Safari. So apparently there's something going on with the files that I have on my backup. One of them is creating a conflict. So I guess my next question, is going to be, how do I find a corrupt file or whatever it is that's causing Safari to basically not work? Thank you so much. I know it's a long-winded question. See you later. Thank you.
Hey, thank you for giving us an update. So it's, by the way, this is exactly what we told you to do. The thought was there was something that was loading with Safari that was causing it to crash. Of course, you wipe the drive, you start over, which you could have done yourself, but they did it for you. Wipe the drive, start over, no problems. Bring your files back, problems. So there's a few possibilities. I think it's now we know it's not the cache or the cookies. We talked about clearing those. Well, often that could cause problems with the browser. If a browser's cache gets corrupted, it's a database of sites you visited previously. To save time, it saves off the images and text and so forth. But if that database gets corrupted, the browser loads it and goes, I can't, and falls over. But in effect, I don't think a restore would bring back your cache, nor would it bring back your cookies. Another problem that could have been, loading when the browser loaded. Hold down the Shift key when you load Safari. That's one way to keep extensions from loading. And I think that it may be, in fact, it's likely that you have an extension on your system that when you restored it, those would get backed up and restored. They're stored in an extensions folder that is crashing Safari. So you want to launch Safari without extensions. I'm pretty sure that you can do that by holding down the Shift key. That used to be the process. But let me just search Start Safari Safely or without extensions. We call it a safe start or safe mode. Maybe you have to do a special command to launch it in safe mode. This would keep extensions from loading. Extensions you would see in the Safari menu. If it is a malicious extension, however, it might not show up in the preferences. Plugins are in the help menu under installed plugins. I'm pretty sure that that's the key. So unless they've changed this is quite a few years old, but it used to be hold down the Shift key and Safari will start up without any extensions or plugins. If it works at that point, well, now you're very much narrowed it down to look for something in the plugins folder or the extensions folder. And I think that's probably what's going on. Something corrupt there. It's actually exactly, I think, what we told you in the first place, which is there's something loading with Safari. A clean install, of course, wipes out everything. You restored, you put back both plugins and extensions, so they're loading again and Safari's crashing again. But I'm glad you called back. I'm glad you called with the update. Do we want to take a little break? I know we have Dick DeBartolo coming up in 20 minutes. Let's do a little commercial break. We'll get ahead of the game. How do you like that? Have we ever been ahead of the game before? Maybe. Our show today brought to you by The Eufy Video Smart Lock E330 is so easy to install, even little Mikey Sargent can do it with just a Phillips screwdriver and his brains. No drilling involved. You take out the old lock. You put in, it's a deadbolt, absolutely. See, it says Eufy on it. And you put in the Eufy Video Lock. Just a Phillips, no drilling required. It has fingerprint recognition. In fact, 0.3 seconds. It's the fastest fingerprint recognition out there. And it unlocks in 1 second. In fact, it even gets smarter every time you use it. It becomes more accurate. So when you put your finger on there, that deadbolt goes. You see it's got a removable 10,000 milliamp hour rechargeable battery. Easy to pop out, charge it up. Lasts 4 months, and you will get a low battery notification. Now, here's the beauty. So he's scanning it in. He's got it all set. The Eufy's going. Now watch this fingerprint. It's so fast. You can also, you see there's a keypad there. So you can always use the keypad. I like fingerprint. Great way to get into the house. You don't have to have keys in your pocket. But if you forget your fingerprint, you can always use the key. See, I think a lock, 3 ways to unlock it. The old-fashioned way with a key, with the keypad and a number, or with your fingerprint. And with that great 2K clear sight, 2-way audio, enhanced night vision camera, when somebody's at your door and says, "Let me in," like Burke, should we let Burke in? All right, we're going to let Burke in remotely without even going anywhere near it. This is what you want. It combines everything. In effect, a doorbell, a camera, and a good deadbolt lock, the Eufy Video Lock. Here's the best part. No monthly fees, no subscription. All your recordings are stored locally. You never have to pay for storage. So you pay once, and that's it. Enjoy a worry-free experience with an 18-month warranty, all backed by Eufy's 24/7 professional customer service team. The Eufy Video Lock is exactly what you're looking for. Search for Eufy Video Lock on Amazon or visit eufy.com, EUFY.com. You know Eufy, that's the home automation and security brand of Anchor. We love Anchor's stuff, and we love Eufy stuff. Eufy Video Lock, no subscription, and all your videos, this is great for privacy, are stored locally, so you don't ever have to worry about the cloud. EUFY.com. Search for Eufy Video Lock on Amazon. You find it in many of your home improvement stores as well in your area. All right, let us get to work.
So,
yes, John.
There is an email that it's in the pile, but I think I want us to have you try to search for it because I don't know if it's at the top of the pile.
Is it? It's not at the top? You don't know?
I don't know at the top of my head.
You don't know off the top of your head, off the top of the pile.
I know they're in the Zoom call right now, and I've asked them if they would like to raise
Tell me what the subject matter was.
It's Wi-Fi 6E or Wi-Fi 7.
Oh, that's a good question.
And it's from Jose.
Ah.
And I know he's listening right now because
Hi, Jose.
He's in the Zoom call.
Oh.
If he were to raise his hand, I would pick up on him right now.
It is not on the top.
Yeah.
It is not in the top 4.
Like I said, I'm not sure.
It is not in the top 5. You know, I'm reversing the order at this point.
That's okay.
It is not in the top 6.
That's
D.
Do you want me to?
You know what? I bet you didn't even put it in the pile because I'm down to my last one.
Oh.
How much will you give me?
How about this?
if he's not in the pile?
I can't promise anything.
No, he's not in the pile. You forgot to put it in there.
I thought I had it in there.
Let's take a call.
Okay. All right.
Who needs email when you've got calls?
I know. Okay, let's pick up on Douglas.
Hello, Douglas. Is this the call? This is a different call.
It's a different. Oh.
Well, what happened to the call? Wait a minute. Let's just go. Well, you tell me what his question was.
Okay. So his question was about he has a Google
Wi-Fi 6E or Wi-Fi 7, right?
Yes.
You're going to pay a lot for Wi-Fi 7. Wi-Fi 7, of course, they've changed. You remember it used to be 802.11 A, B, C, D, E, F. Wi-Fi 7 is the latest one. And I mean really latest one. It's just out, which means you're going to pay a lot. There's 2 downsides to getting the latest. You're going to pay a lot. Companies will charge you a lot. Not every company will offer it. But you'll also have to have Wi-Fi 7 enabled utilities or pieces, hardware. What do you call that? Hardware, phones, laptops, that kind of thing, to take advantage of it. On the other hand, there is a lot to be said for Wi-Fi 7. It is now, how many bands? I think it's tri-band, but I think they also have many channels. It's introducing a 320 megahertz ultra-wide bandwidth, 4,096 QAM, multi-RU, multi-link operation. So it's potentially, this is a TP-Link, they're selling one of these, potentially a lot faster. Look at that difference in speed, 46 gigabits. You know what? You don't need 46 gigabits. You probably don't need 9 gigabits. You really only need 1 gigabit if you've got a really fast connection. But, hey, you got it, right? I think the biggest advantage of Wi-Fi 7 that you're going to see is it's eliminated one of the biggest problems with Wi-Fi. You may have heard when we have people on our shows, Burke shakes them by the shoulders and says, no Wi-Fi for you. We insist that they be connected via Ethernet. And that's because earlier Wi-Fis had the nasty habit. They were very polite. Bad habit when it comes to networking. As if they saw any other traffic on that channel, your Wi-Fi router would go, oh, pardon me, after you, Alphonse, and wait a random amount of time and then try again. Still see some traffic? Oh, never mind, I'm sorry. It was like a party line. And what that meant was, you might have seen this in your own Zoom calls. We would see it regularly in the calls we would get with people using Wi-Fi. There'd be a pause, a dropout. Packets would be lost. And then people would either speed up, burble, or just there'd be silence. It's not a good thing for continuous streaming like video or audio. So that's eliminated with Wi-Fi 7. They now have enough channels. They don't need to do that. So they say there'll no longer be that collision-based after you, Alphonse. So that's a huge thing. I think improved throughput, fine. If you have many devices, fine. Lower latency, that's really good. Considerably lower latency than 6E. And you have that network capacity because of all the extra multi-link channels. You have a lot more capacity. So where would you want Wi-Fi 7? Well, first of all, if you're not price sensitive, if you're using, I don't know if anybody's put out a Wi-Fi 7 device yet. Maybe the next iPhone will be. Apple's not notorious for staying ahead of the curve. Samsung would probably do it. Maybe a newer laptop. This laptop, the HP laptop I got is just now is 6E. We just got 6E, and everybody's already talking about Wi-Fi 7. Now, Wi-Fi 7 is yet to be ratified, but we're pretty sure it's in the final stages, so we're pretty sure we know. By the way, if you're curious, if you're an old timer, you want to know what it's called, it's 802.11be. So 6E was AX, 6 and 6E were AX. Wi-Fi 5 was AC. That's probably the last time we used 802.11. It was 802.11 AC. Then there was AX. Now we're up to BE. No one knows why. I presume that there was an AX, AY, AZ, BA, BB, BC, BD, and now they're up to BE. What happened to all those others? I don't know. Why are you asking me? Ask the IEEE. They're the ones who make that up. Higher data rate, more bands. They have a 6 gigahertz band, but so does 6E. So that's a push. Lots more channels with lots wider channel size. That's huge. So the multiple in, multiple out on 6E is 8 by 8. It's 16 by 16, twice as many channels for MIMO on Wi-Fi 7. You might want that. I'll be honest. I'm setting up a new Wi-Fi network. I'm absolutely looking at the Wi-Fi 7 ubiquity access points because I'm a little worried about the distance they have to go, things like that. I have yet to play with it. I don't know if anybody's played with it yet. It's certainly, you're future-proofing, right? Let me see what TP-Link is charging. I know Ubiquiti is charging a considerably more. Here's a very good router. The Archer BE, the Archer line from TP-Link is great. This is the BE. Let's see. Let's buy it. Let's just see. It looks cool. Wonder what Amazon wants for the Wi-Fi 7. $544. Okay. 8 antennas. Looks cool. And by the way, TP-Link is the low price leader, so you can expect it to cost even more from others. Should you get it? If you have Wi-Fi problems in your existing building and you're already using 6, skip 6E, go right to 7. Yeah, that might be sensible. You're certainly getting the latest and greatest. It definitely has some advantages. I think for me, the biggest advantage is we're told it won't have that collision problem. You won't have to pause and wait for others to go through. So that's the answer to that. And I guess he didn't raise his hand. Is that Jose? He didn't raise his hand. I hope that helps you, Jose. I think Jose is our caller from Mexico City. I think we've talked to him before. I might be wrong. Anyway, I hope that helps, Jose. Should you get it now? It depends on how price sensitive you are and so forth. I mean, this is going to be an improvement. It's brand new. It will require, new equipment. Wired says it will be a good while, and this was in January, but still, it will be a good while before most of us should consider switching. Okay. So there's a good article on Wired explaining the benefits and the details. It's faster. It supports more connections. It's got better low latency performance, better for cloud gaming, etc. There you go. That's your answer. Hope that helps, Jose. Some people like to have the latest and greatest and are willing to spend that premium to have the brand new thing. I guess one thing I should say, you should be reassured, even though I don't think it's been ratified fully yet. They have IEEE has or the Wi-Fi Alliance has a certification program, and if the hardware you're buying says Wi-Fi 7 certified, you're pretty much guaranteed it will be compatible, even if they update the standard. It's in the next few months. It'll probably be unchanged. Okay. Now what do we want to do, John Ashley?
I know we're 5 minutes out from Dick. Do you want to do one more?
Yeah, I'll do an email. Yeah. Have we done a call yet?
Not yet, no. It was 5 minutes before.
You don't have faith that I could do a call in 5 minutes? I'll do this one. This is from Jacob. Hi, Leo and Micah. Hope things are going well. I'm facing a tricky problem with summarizing my project meeting notes using AI. He's tried Zoom, Sybil, Noda, Otter. They're decent, but they have limitations. There's cost, which is true. He says they're pricey for my frequent, extensive meetings. I'm sorry, Jacob. Recording issues, client consent laws often prevent recording beyond my notes. He also says I have a large backlog of notes. Some projects started years ago, archived in SharePoint. He uses an M1 MacBook Air, has access to Windows machines. This is the kind of, at this point, in my opinion, the new frontier for AI. The idea that you take an existing large language model, whether it's OpenAI's ChatGPT or Mistral, the open source one, Facebook's Llama, Google's Gemini. I keep calling it Gemini. It's because I go back to the astronaut days. Gemini. Use those large language models and then do something called RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation, which in effect takes a kind of vanilla. It's like sprinkles on your ice cream cone. You got your vanilla large language model, and then you want to sprinkle it with your documents and then ask questions of the large language model. That's why you need it, because that's the ability to answer questions. Ask questions of it, but based on the sprinkles. I've done that with a couple of custom chat GPTs. Currently, I think ChatGPT is limited to 20 documents, far fewer, I imagine, than what you want. Ideally, we all would like, and I think we're getting close, to give it everything. That's what Microsoft announced this week with their new Surfaces and their Copilot Plus PCs. They announced something they call Recall. They're getting a lot of hate for that, by the way. Recall on a Windows 11 Copilot Plus PC takes snapshots of what's going on every few seconds on your computer and stores them. The idea being, by the way, it's not just an image. It's doing OCR on it. It's understanding it. The idea being then you can ask the Copilot AI, which is OpenAI, You can say, but OpenAI with RAG, right? With the retrieval augmented generation being everything you've done on your machine, you could say, hey, I was looking at a website a couple of weeks ago about Army tanks. What was that site? And the AI would, in theory, be able to go, oh, I could tell you because I remember it, because it remembers everything. Now, Microsoft said, look, we're encrypting it using BitLocker. It never leaves your device. It's secure. We're not going to get it. No third party's going to get it. People like Lawrence Abrams at Bleeping Computer said, yeah, well, that's all well and good. A, if you trust Microsoft, I think you could trust Microsoft here in this case. But B, if no one has access to your computer, and that might be the rub, because you've now put on your computer a record of everything you've ever done. And if somehow somebody gets your computer, whether it's an evil maid or the evil NSA, and they get your computer, they can now see, they can search, they can see everything you've done. Because once they log in, BitLocker, as you know, BitLocker unencrypts it and makes it available. So that's the only, in my opinion, that's the only real threat is somebody else getting your computer. Keep a long, strong password on it. Don't let anybody get it while it's unlocked. I think you're probably all right. So that's kind of along the lines of what you're talking about. But this is in the future. I think all of this is in the future. Notebook LM, something from Google based on Gemini, does the same thing. But I think in most cases, what you're going to run up against is the token window, the maximum amount of data that the LLM can access. I call it a corpus, a body of data, right? And what I did with my custom GPTs, 20 was enough. I gave it 20 books. These modern LLMs can really hold a lot of data. I think they're up to a couple of billion tokens now. So, you can have quite a few documents in there. And the reason is they need to load that all into their little LLM brains so that when you ask it a question, it can go, well, let me look. But anything it can't access, so there's a limit to how much it can access. You're asking it to do a lot. One meeting, no big deal. In fact, I would absolutely, I would bet Otter AI and others would start using this capability, RAG capability, with ChatGPT if others. It's not going to be cheap. Now, ideally, down the road, you use something like Everything LM. This is another LLM to look at that's local only. Everything lets you download an LLM from, did I say everything? Anything, sorry. Lets you download an LLM from Facebook with Llama or Mistral or any one of these open source LLMs. Some of them are tuned, and then add your own documents. It's still not going to be able to hold probably as much as you want, but it has the advantage of being absolutely free. So I think that that's probably the place to start. Anything LLM. The last chatbot you'll ever need, the ultimate AI business intelligence tool. This is something really I think that everybody wants. The notion that you could give an AI your information and say, oh, no, don't make up anything. Only take it from my information. This is the goal. You don't get hallucinations. You don't get inaccuracies. And you get I think, very useful summaries. So this is the one I've played with. I find it to be a little bit slow. If you have a heavy-duty machine with an NVIDIA GPU, it might be more responsive. I've been using it on a Apple MacBook Pro M3 Max, which is about as high-end an NPU as you can get, and it's still a lot slower than OpenAI's ChatGPT. So you can use GPT-4 if you want. If you have an OpenAI account, you can use the API key, but you can also use Llama and Mistral for free. It will import pretty much any kind of document, PDFs, text files, markup files, ODT, and more. So that's important. Of course, again, there are going to be limitations on the total number. But the nice thing about this is you can download it and try it for free. So this is the one I would try. I don't think it's going to do everything you want. Honestly, I think ChatGPT's, custom GPTs are the best I've ever used in terms of speed and performance. I think Gemini's close. But if you want to do it for free locally, anything LLM. And it doesn't do transcription, but you can download Whisper, and which is the chat, Is that ChatGPT? Yeah, ChatGPT's OpenAI's transcriber does a very good job. So get Whisper AI, use that to transcribe the audio, and then feed it to anything LLM. Let me know how it works. You're right on the cutting edge. To me, this is the most useful thing any AI model can do is give us let us query it about our own stuff, right? Hey, no questions asked. It's the best time of the day to talk to Mad Magazine's maddest writer and our gizmo wizard, Dick DeBartolo. You cleaned up Disneyland.
Oh my gosh, I sent you, you know what? The Norman Rockwell Museum up in Stockbridge, Mass.
Wow.
Is doing a big tribute to Mad. It's going to run from June 8th through October 27th. And the curator of the museum said, can we do some interviews at your Disneyland studio?
Wow.
So Dennis and I thought this would be a big deal. So we spent about 4 days. I sent you a little 2-minute video.
Wait a minute.
Of
It took
what
you
it was
4
like.
days to clean up Disneyland? It's
Well,
one
take a
tiny
peek.
room.
Yes, take a peek.
Wow. Look at this. Oh, you really fixed it up. Welcome to the GizWiz Theater.
Oh, I'm not seeing that.
Oh, look how beautiful that is. Look at oh, you're not seeing it, Dick? You're probably just seeing me looking at it and swooning.
Okay.
It is very clean, very beautiful. Notice, all dust on the shelves of Disneyland is the original dust from Mad's offices on Madison Avenue. Do not touch or dust. Is there really dust left?
Well, on some of the older boxes, yes.
Wow.
Well, you know, Mad closed in December 2017.
Yeah.
And the New York office. And the editor said, I'm not taking a lot of stuff, so take what you want.
Including the
And then
dust.
at the end,
All the dust is yours.
I have a little
Look at this.
gadget warehouse shelves. And
so
then
you've just got, because the warehouse itself is massive. So you just have
The
a
warehouse is
select number. Are you going to rotate that collection periodically?
Yes. I actually, I'm trying to have one of, and someone from the show is calling me, not one of the people watching it. Anyway, and so this is where the section of the show where I sit.
Look at that.
Do Ask the Tech Guy.
That's where
do
you are right
ABC
now.
News. Yeah,
Nice.
exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screens, Dick? Really?
Well, you know what? I have one that's on the Hudson River.
Oh.
I have one that
Look at
is
this.
virtual railroad so that I can see trains around the country.
This is geek heaven.
Yeah.
This
So
is
that-
awesome.
That looks, it's pretty neat.
You
So-
really cleaned it up. You know what you did? Maybe you didn't know this. You did something they call Swedish death cleaning.
I did not know that.
You know why I know this? Because I've been doing it. My sister told me about it because our mom's getting on and, you know, we've got to clean out her house.
Yeah.
And the idea is before you pass, you clean up so your heirs don't have to.
What's the fun of that?
My wife's making me do it.
Oh, okay.
I have filled up. I did what you did, basically. Garbage bag after garbage bag of old stuff that I don't need. And then we'll do the traditional Leo free auction where I pay you to take the stuff of some of the better, choicer stuff. Did you do that what did you do with your old gizmos?
I have the worst choice in the world. I take it to the warehouse and pay $450 a month.
Isn't he sweet? He rents an apartment for his old gadgets just so they're happy.
Exactly. Just so when someone said, remember the CompuServe disc that came in? Oh, I have that. I have that. I don't know where it is. It's in the warehouse somewhere.
Is that what goes through your head when you're ready to, you know, you're looking at these old AOL discs and you're thinking, should I save it? And is that what goes through your head is, well, someday I might need it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I am. Don't you have a garage full of stuff you'll never need?
Not anymore. I've done Swedish death cleaning. I mean, seriously, and it does. You're right. I understand why it took 4 days, because you're sitting there and you go through this. So, I have boxes. I have e-waste. I have give to the. We have a charity we like to donate old clothes and stuff to, and they'll take some stuff, not everything. So I've got the box for the veterans. I've got the box to save, and then I've got the box to throw in the giant dumpster in our driveway. And you have to, everything you pick up, you go, oh, and you throw it away. It's painful.
No, I've been through that.
So what was the criterion? Did you only save things that sparked joy?
Mostly. Oh, yeah. Anything, bills, I just destroy right away.
Yeah, right. Throw out the bills. That's for sure.
No
That's
joy.
easy.
There's no joy in paid bills.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Paid bills. You were saving everything, weren't you? I feel like you saved everything.
I absolutely. It's the stupidest retirement plan ever, that I would save every copy of Mad Magazine because it would be
that's
worth a ton of
different.
money.
You should save every copy of Mad Magazine.
Well, the warehouse is like $5,000 a year, so they ain't gonna.
At some point, do you think you're going to go through the warehouse?
I am planning on just leaving a note behind the door that said, "I've passed on. Please keep everything or throw everything out." That's my plan.
Let me ask you a question. Do you have any heirs?
No.
You can't leave it to your dog.
No, I can't leave it to Charlie. Dennis wants nothing to do with it.
So, okay, I mean that's kind of morbid. But
I may do with a few like Al Jaffe and Doug Guilford, who runs the Mad Cover site.
Yeah, give them some.
It's find a museum or a school.
Is that what happened to Al Jaffe's stuff?
Al Jaffe gave a lot of stuff to, I think, Columbia. I'm not even sure what school. But scripts are not like artwork. Artwork, people want the artwork.
Right.
Scripts are, what's that? Not really worth much.
Isn't that interesting? You have a bunch of old Match Game scripts, things like that?
Oh, I have a bunch of Match Game stuff. I have old Mad scripts.
Wow.
And I even bought 2 gadgets for today, Lee. I didn't want to totally take up your time with.
But I love that. I think this is so cool, and everybody has been through this. I don't think there are very many people in the world who just have rigidly, I'm going to get rid of it. If I don't need it, I'm getting rid of it. We all have a garage somewhere full of stuff we just can't let go of, even though it has no use at all.
No, absolutely.
And you're the gadget guy. You probably more than anybody.
I have a lot.
Did you ever visit Regis's office?
Back in the old, Regis didn't collect a lot of stuff.
Oh, but
his office.
I have a picture somewhere of me.
I know, because you were up there teaching him how to tweet, right?
Now X, yes, Twitter. And he had a lot of Notre Dame memorabilia. He had a memorabilia wall. But you can't, you have a great career like that. You can't, you want to save it all. I understand that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I think I'm gonna save 1 memory per year. It gives me 20 memories. All right, let's do your GizWiz gadget of the week. If you go to gizwiz.biz.
Okay, so it's actually 2, because I found 2 kind of fun things.
Okay.
These are little under-counter lights, okay?
Oh, I need these.
And what's interesting about this little puck light, this one is bizarre. This one comes with remote control.
Did you just call it this little pucker?
Do what?
Never mind.
Okay.
I think I misunderstood.
This one, it has a 13 color option if you want it. You can either turn it on and off remote or click the little motion switch on the back. The 2 of them, what I like about the 2 of them is they come with a little USB-C tray, so you can charge 3 of them at a time.
How long do they last in a charge?
You know what? It's really going to depend on how often you open cabinets. So far, it's been several weeks and I haven't recharged either one of them.
So this doesn't turn on it's like a refrigerator light, but you can put it anywhere.
Leo, guess what?
What?
The wiring in my refrigerator has burned out, and I have one of these on each shelf.
Wow.
And when I open my refrigerator, it's better lit than when the original bulb was in there.
We've
so
come
I'm
a
using
long
it.
way. That's really neat. LEDs
Yeah.
are great. Yes.
Yeah. Now this is another version, and this is kind of different.
By the way, if you ever want to go on a diet, get your refrigerator lights to be green, and you will look in your refrigerator and go, "I'm not going to eat that." It works amazing.
I make sure I have it on orange, so everything looks wow,
tasty.
That looks so delicious, even though there seems to be mold on it. The mold
It's orange
is
mold.
Very,
That's okay.
very attractive. It's attractive. It's an attractive kind of mold.
I love that.
The longer guys, you click it to one side, and
Ooh.
it'll go on with a white daylight. Pick it to the other side, and it'll light up with warm light. So the one strip can be either light. So in the closet, if you want it to be bright, do that. Under the counter, you want it to be soft white, hit the switch to the soft white side, and it'll come on in that temperature. And it's the same deal. You can charge 3 of them at one time. And I put a link there. As of this morning, a 50% off coupon was still there.
Wow.
Now, I don't know. On Amazon, those things disappear at any second.
Yep. They still have the code. Yep.
Oh, it's still there. You get 5 of them and the charging station
for $20.
For $20.
So there's a magnet backing that you put you put in your cabinet or whatever, and then
that is correct.
So this is easy to detach. You just pull it off the magnet. And
exactly.
Then you can charge it.
Fortunately, my closet has a metal frame around it, so I just snap it onto that. And I have one under my desk, which has a metal leg. I just snap it onto that. But if you don't have a magnetic surface, it comes with 5 magnetic strips, and the back of each bulb has its own magnetic strip already installed.
Wow.
And everything is USB-C.
Wow. So, yeah, look, because this is all from a company, interestingly named company, Ann Meary.
I know.
ANMEERY. Not all of them have the coupon. So
no, that is correct.
You gotta look and see which ones have the coupon to get the.
You want the $39. You want the $40 one.
The $40 one's got the coupon,
which is 5, and that'll bring it. It should come out to $19.99.
Yeah, that's because they're dumping these.
Yeah, I'm building more closets, Leo, because I have no room for all these lights. So I have to.
This is exactly how you get to that point. Is you go, oh, in fact, I still have a lot of stuff that I bought because of you. I saved it all.
You're welcome.
In the death cleaning, I saved everything.
Okay. All right.
I want to buy these, but then I just cleaned everything out. It's like, but at least I'll be able to see it, right? Now I can see the empty spaces clearly. This is great.
Put one on the garbage can cover, and when you throw something out and you lift it, the light will go on.
So tempted. I think
you
at
can't.
half price,
$20.
get $100 worth. That's what is that? 25 of them. You can put them everywhere.
There you go. There you go.
Go to gizwiz.biz. Click the link that says the GizWiz visits Ask the Tech Guys, and you can see all of these. You can also click another link right below it. What the heck is it? For a chance to win an autographed copy of Mad Magazine. You have till the end of June to identify what is obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm thinking it's either I don't know. I don't want to say because I think I'm right. Maybe I'm going to send it in because I'd like to get, you got 6 autographed copies of Mad Magazine for the right answer. You get more bang for your buck, though, if you come up with a cute, silly answer. He's got 12 autographed. And you're playing for this, the August. No, you're not. This is the June issue. So this is new, not the one I have.
You'll be playing for the August issue, which I don't have copies yet.
Yeah.
But I'll send them out to you guys when I get them.
Okay, because I have the June issue.
Yeah.
I don't have to play. I get the autograph even if I don't play. Dick autographs that right there like that. Giz Fizz. There it is.
So this is the back cover of the August issue. That one I know.
That is so cool. The Norman Rockwell Museum. And can we visit that in New York?
No, but
it's in Stockbridge.
It's in Scottbridge, but
That's where his studio was. Okay.
at some point I'm going to be doing a Zoom thing for the museum,
that's so neat.
and I'll post a link for that. And they shot a lot of videos here, and if they go public,
cool.
I'll post links to them too.
Oh, that is so cool. So scroll down a little bit, John Ashley, so we can see Norman Rockwell Museum, nrm.org. Be there through the end of October of this year. You know, Stockbridge isn't so far from my mom. Maybe I'll go on over. I'd love to see that. Kids and teens are free. Museum.
Yeah, tons of original artwork. It's going to be quite something.
I will never forget visiting those old Madison Avenue offices and you showing me the original art, cover art, which is big. They paint it big and then they reduce it for the cover. Beautiful stuff, man. Is that ever for sale? Could you ever buy and frame one of those on your wall?
I have on loan. I have the original cover from the Mad Poop Side Down adventure. I had written the satire.
You wrote it, yeah.
Yeah, and it was the largest. This is back when Mad was in its heyday, and it sold over 2 million copies.
Wow.
Yeah, so I have that cover.
That must make you feel pretty darn good. If you like Dick, you will love the Giz Fizz Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific. Thursdays, Giz Wiz at 4:30 Pacific, both streamed live on gizwiz.tv. And to play the What the Heck Is It contest or to get links to the gadgets he just mentioned, go to gizwiz.biz. Actually, if you go to gizwiz.biz, it's all there. Everything's there. Dick, you're the best. I'm so glad you did Swedish death cleaning before you passed.
Yes. Anyway, thank you. It's great fun to be doing this. I'll see you next month.
See you next month. Dick DeBartolo, everybody.
I'll have you a new issue for you.
All right. Have a great Memorial Day. You used to probably take the boat out on Memorial Day, right?
Yeah, right now there's usually a big service up at the Soldiers and Sailors Monument, and I go up for that.
Oh, that sounds great. That sounds wonderful. Thank you, Dickie D.
Okay, buddy. Take care.
Good one. Take care.
Bye.
Love to Charlie and Dennis. Should I sign up to be his heir? I don't know if I'll survive him. He's in much better shape than I am. Gizwiz.biz is the website. All right, we're going to move on in just a moment. Take another call, so get on the horn. 888-724-ATTG. That's 888-724-2884 or call.twit.tv. Our show today brought to you by HP and Intel. The Elite Book 1040 G11. It's HP's first commercial AI PC with an Intel Core Ultra processor designed with AI acceleration to empower your workforce and deliver exceptional performance, battery life, and world-class security. With the HP EliteBook 1040 G11, you'll get SmartSense. That's always on in the background. It's on right now, and it monitors my PC's vitals and makes automatic adjustments to energy hogging resources. I can unplug this thing and leave it for days, literally, before I have to charge it again, up to 29-hour battery life. The SmartSense balances the battery, the fan, the processor. It gives you power when you need it, but it sips power when you don't. Everything that runs in your laptop is controlled by SmartSense. You focus on bringing your biggest ideas to life. Let HP manage the laptop so you get incredible battery life. The audio on this thing is incredible. HP recently acquired Poly Studio, and the Poly AI-driven audio on this is incredible, along with the Windows Studio effects, which means not only do you get great sound, but you get great microphones. Adaptive dynamic voice leveling gives you optimal vocal clarity based on your environment. You get background noise reduction. This thing is a Zoom monster. The camera gives you automatic face framing. And that really cool AI feature called eye contact. You can be looking down at the script or whatever, but it looks like you're looking right into the camera. It really is great. I wish I had that here. And of course, Copilot's built in, the AI assistant that automates your workflow by suggesting personalized optimizations and streaming for efficiency. Use learning deadlines and personal productivity patterns to help you set priorities and manage your time effectively. These are beautiful laptops. I'm a huge fan. Windows 11 Pro with the latest Intel Core Ultra 5 and 7 processors. I didn't even mention this comes with a 14-inch OLED display that is so crisp, so clean, so color accurate. It feels like you're looking at the real thing, looking at a window. 5-megapixel camera. Oh, and very important, HP Wolf security for business, and so much more. This is the laptop that will make your employees happy and make you feel good because you'll know it's secure and they will love it so they can regain meaningful time and focus on meaningful work. This is the laptop for your company. HP EliteBook 1040 G11. Go to hp.com, search for EliteBook 1040 G11 to learn more today, or go to our show notes at techguylabs.com. Click the link there. hp.com. I've always loved HP's EliteBooks, and they get better and better all the time. This is such a nice laptop. HP EliteBook 1040 G11. Thank you, HP, for supporting Ask the Tech Guys. Call.twit.tv 888-827. I'm sorry, 888-724. I must be dyslexic a little bit with that number. I always want to say call Leo, right? 888-724-2884 is our number. All right, what should we do next, Mr. John Ashley?
I have Douglas on the line.
Douglas, we got him. Hey, Douglas.
Hello.
Come into the Stargate, my friend. Look at
I'm
that.
waiting. Hello.
He is on the planet Jupiter.
I don't know what planet it is, but anyway.
What can I do for you, Douglas?
I got a couple of things for you today. A couple of weeks ago, I called in. I was trying to use UTM to run Windows ARM on my MacBook Pro, and I was getting an error about no OpenGL driver. So I gave up on that, and last week I downloaded VMware Fusion. Now,
yeah, they just announced that's for free.
Yeah, and I loaded Windows ARM on that, and my application works on that.
Nice.
So, not complaining about that, so I just thought I'd let you know I solved that.
Yeah, UTM is another virtual machine. I've never used UTM. I have used VMware Fusion for years, but I really like Parallels, and they were the first to support, support Apple Silicon. So that's how I run Windows on my Mac, and it runs beautifully. Yeah.
Yeah, there was some discussion about the old dual boot. What was the one Apple used to support?
Oh yeah, they don't do that anymore. They gave that up. Yeah.
Well, they're saying now that Microsoft has ARM, it may come back. That's what somebody was saying.
Who was saying that? Not Apple.
Somebody online.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Apple has decided, I think, to abandon the idea that you need to run Windows on a Mac. And they're probably right. They're probably right. If you want to run it, it runs surprisingly well in emulation, right? I haven't tried VMware Fusion yet. It runs well, right?
Yeah, it's running fine, and it runs the one application that I hello Loki, my cat decided to show up. Hi, Loki.
I like Loki. Now, what is Loki wearing? Is that her
It's her harness.
It's her utility jacket?
It's her harness.
Oh, I see. She's got a tile on her or a air tag.
Air tag.
Yeah, nice. Very cool. She doesn't
so
mind that?
What's that?
She doesn't mind that?
She's had it on ever since we got her. So
she's used to it.
I need to have a harness on her for when I take her to visit my wife at the nursing home. So,
oh, nice.
Which we're going to do later.
It's an interesting thought that Apple could bring Boot Camp back but Microsoft has supported Windows on ARM for years, and it didn't, even before they went to Apple Silicon, and that didn't get Apple to make any difference. I don't think Apple's going to bring back Boot Camp. I think,
anyway,
and emulation runs fine because Windows on ARM
working.
So that's a good way
it's
to do
working for the one application that I need that wasn't available.
And note, that's one of the issues because Apple doesn't support OpenGL anymore. So an emulator has to give you an emulation layer to make anything that needs OpenGL to work.
It works now, so I just haven't had a chance to license it yet.
Yeah.
But, so two other things. One, when I was on here a couple months ago, I showed you pictures from the Vintage Computer Federation flea market.
Yes, I remember.
And I just want to let you know that they have one coming up on June 22nd.
And it's where?
It's in Wall, New Jersey.
I have to head to Wall, New Jersey.
So let me
if you're in the East Coast, this is a amazing, old computer festival.
Well, yeah, so it's basically a flea market. So there we go. There's the
fun.
The information.
The Vintage Computer Swap Meet. Do you think if I brought some of my old computers down, I could get any money for them?
I don't know. There were people selling a lot of stuff there.
I bet not a lot, though, right?
No, it didn't seem to be a lot.
Yeah.
So, but anyway.
In this Swedish death cleaning, I'm looking at all this old stuff. I filled a giant box for e-waste because I just don't think anybody wants to buy these really old devices.
There's a lot of people buying up old, believe it or not, 486 and Pentium motherboards.
Really? What for?
They're building gaming boxes.
Okay. Oh, I get it. Vintage gaming boxes, like emulation. Yeah. I get it. Yeah, because an older processor is going to run Pac-Man just fine. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just, to run older games, too.
That makes sense.
So, the other thing I have a question about, I don't know if anybody's run into this before, but I've started doing tagging with my my photos.
Okay.
Now that both the Google Photos and Apple Photos support pets, because I tag a lot of my pets. And I ran into a little issue. It's going to sound silly. I currently have a orange cat, a ginger cat, and Starbuck. And we used to have a ginger cat pilchard. And the problem is that they look very much alike, so they're tagging. Starbuck gets tagged as pilchard, and pilchard gets tagged as Starbuck.
I think we got a little ways to go before AI can distinguish between orange cats.
What I was hoping it could, if there was any way to tag photos based on date.
You certainly can search for photos based on date, but you want to combine the tags. You want to say orange cat on this date kind of thing.
Is pilchard and orange cat after this date is Starbuck.
This is where our sponsor Mylio is so good. Mylio has an incredible system of filters, and will let you stack them. I don't know if every time I search, I wish it would, come to think of it, in both Mac Photos and Google Photos, you could search for one thing, a date or cats, but you can't combine them as far as I know. And I often want to do that. Mylio does it very well. Mylio's filtering is incredible. And so you can search for hippopotamuses. I don't think I have any hippopotamus pictures, but these are all automatic, which is amazing. And then you can stack them, multiple selections. So it really is quite powerful.
What I found really impressive with Google Photos, let me just go here real quick, is I've taken a lot of pictures of airplanes from various places, and like I can put in here, I want to see a picture of a PBY, which is a seaplane from World War II, and amazingly, it actually finds them.
That is pretty impressive. That's Google Photos. That is really impressive. Yeah. That's AI for you. Wow.
Yeah, this particular photo is interesting. My wife's grandmother took it out her window and we're coming in to pick up water to go dump on forest fires.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
So, but, I've been pretty impressed because I searched for a given airplane and it picks up the airplane.
That is, that, I don't know if Mylio is that sophisticated. I mean, that really is using Google's large language models and years of collecting everybody's photos and learning from them. In fact,
it's been able to do this for a couple of years though, so I'm not sure if it's AI or just they know what it looks like.
It is AI. It's just that it's now available in a more general form. But Google, see, remember this. You may not remember this, but maybe you do. Remember, Google used to have Google 411, where you would, instead of calling 411 information, you would use this online, and you'd talk to it and would talk back to you. And then they discontinued it. When they discontinued it, they said, yeah, we've learned everything we can. We did it. They admitted this. We did it to improve our artificial, they didn't call it AI models, but that's what it was, to improve our language models. And we got years of data from you from Google 411, so we don't need to do it anymore. I think it's safe to say that's exactly what they're doing with Google Photos. If you look at the privacy statement, they have the right to do that. And they're learning from it. In fact, you're helping them every time you tag something. They're going, oh, that's an orange cat.
None of those plane pictures were tagged. It's just, it picked
somebody else did. It might not be you, but somebody else did.
Yeah.
Right.
What I think was interesting was after last week's ChatGPT 4.0 demo, I went in and tried to do some of the stuff they did with the camera. And ChatGPT told me, I can't access your camera.
Right.
So I said, well, they showed you accessing the camera in the demo. And then they admit that this was staged.
Right.
It actually told me it was staged.
Wow. Well, at least it's an honest AI. I think 4.0, the new ChatGPT model, is multimodal. That's called multimodal, where you can.
Right.
But you remember that they are under the microscope from regulators and privacy advocates, and they may have decided, yeah, we're going to want to. They could do it. We don't want to ask permission to see your photos because people would freak out. You'd have to give it permission, remember?
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, so they can do it. Believe me, they can do it. Google Vision's been able to do it for years. This is where Google has a big advantage. Google has been collecting information like this forever. That's kind of their model. Even back when they were just spidering the web so you could search for stuff. What do you think they were doing? They were indexing everything. Excuse me. So
then,
Google has a head start, but there's a big issue with knowing it and giving people access to it. And I don't know if Google's ready to do that.
Yeah, I've been playing with ChatGPT writing stories too. I had it write a story about taking the Saturn V out of the museum and flying it.
Oh, how funny.
So, and it's been
who do I
job.
know that's been using AI to help their writing? Oh, Frank Wu, Brianna Wu's husband, who's a sci-fi writer, she was really singing the praises of ChatGPT. Not that he has it write his short stories, but it helps him craft them. And that makes a lot of sense. I think every time I see a use for AI, it's in conjunction with actual human intelligence. On its own, it's not that bright. But it can be used, just like our email from Jose, it can be used to look at your stuff and give you some insights. And I think, that's a really nice partnership. Anyway, I had my son create a new logo for my website, and then I tried to have Midjourney create something similar, and it was next to impossible. Yeah, that's also an art. It turns out of prompt engineering. Hey, Doug, thank you. Always a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah. So just one quick question, Dan.
Yeah.
Are you doing any public speaking?
No.
Okay.
Too much work.
Okay.
You know what I realized? I used to do a lot of it, and I got paid pretty well to do it. But I realized that people really want a comic. And what they really want is they want to be laughing and entertained, and then 2 or 3 useful tips. I'm looking for something in my bag. That's where
this group wouldn't want that, but I'll see if I can.
Yes, they do. Everybody wants that. That's what they want. They may not admit it, but I realized that after a while, and I'm just not funny enough. Is my problem. I'm not a comic.
I like public speaking. Unfortunately, I don't do it in my job anymore like I used to. So.
But don't you find that really that you have to, a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down? You have to entertain people for them to pay attention.
Sometimes not. I mean, I had one talk I was doing one day, and a guy decided to answer his phone right in the front row. And
there you go.
Which I thought was just plain rude.
Most difficult gig I ever had. I got paid a lot of money by HBO to go to their annual sales meeting it was in beautiful Palm Beach, Florida. It was gorgeous. But it wasn't my fault, but there was a tactical problem because I followed the comic Louis Block. Sorry? Black, not Block. I followed, maybe that was the problem, is I didn't get his name right. Anyway, I followed the comic Louis Black. They were howling, and then I come up there doing a little gadget display. Did not go well. That's when I realized I need to have some shtick. Doug, great to talk to you. Thanks for joining us.
Sorry to take so long. But
no problem. I did want to show this. All right, take care. I did want to show this because remember we had the call last week. A guy wanted to attach his iPad to his TV. He was using an HDMI dongle, so the iPad had to be fairly close to the TV. He wanted to get back here in his couch and control the iPad. And Mike and I looked it up, and we said, yeah, we think you can get a Bluetooth keyboard that will control an iPad. And we found this little doohickey. I said, I'll buy it because I want to try it. About $30. This is such a cute little thing. That's the RII i6. It is a Bluetooth keyboard. It has a trackpad, has mouse buttons. It even has remote control style dial on here and buttons and OK and so forth. And I paired it to the iPad, and yes, not only could I type, you wouldn't want to, the keys are small, but this trackpad worked as a mouse, and so you could totally control the iPad. So, in fact, because it has this, and it's a learning remote too, by the way, you see here, it has infrared. So, because it has this little dial here, you can use it just like you would use your remote control, and then if you needed something more, you could use the keyboard and the trackpad. So, in answer to that question from last week, yes, I'm sure there are other devices, but this little inexpensive Chinese keyboard, the size of a remote control, can totally be used as a iPad controller and keyboard. There it is. The RII K06. $26. Are you going to buy it? You can have this one.
No, I'm good.
It almost made it to the e-waste, Swedish death cleaning e-waste. But then I thought, no, I got to show this on the show. Louis Black. Never follow a comic if you're not funny. All right. Now, where should we go, John Ashley? Let's pause.
We need to refresh a little bit.
I have, because I was coughing a little bit, we had Doug came by. Remember, Doug came by when we had the open studio. He said chloroseptic. So I have a little lozenge, and it seems to have quelled the coughing. I can't feel a thing in my throat, but, you're watching Ask the Tech Guys. Micah has the day off. Leo Laporte answering your questions. 888-724-2884. Give us a call. I have a box for e-waste, a garbage bag, and then we have a big dumpster in the front because we're doing the whole house Swedish death cleaning. It's kind of not a great name.
I think it's a good enough name. I think it's going to be the show title for sure.
All right, what next, John Ashley?
I'm going to pick up on George.
All right. Is George on the phone?
No, he's actually on Zoom.
On the Zoom. Well, then we should invite him into our Stargate. Hello, George. Reminder, if you're in the Zoom and you want to ask a question, press the button to raise your hand because we're looking for those hands.
Hey, can you hear me, guys?
I can. Where are you calling from, George?
Just outside of Washington, D.C.
Nice. The nation's capital. What can we do for you?
You could say that. All right, thanks, Leo. My question had to do with some more of that photo organization software. I know you've talked about the MyLeo, and you're going to probably talk about it again. And
well, they are an advertiser.
About it.
They give us good,
sure,
hard dollars to talk about it. But I love it. I use it on everything. Sure. But anyway, what do you want to know?
Well, yeah, specifically, I have a friend who's about to scan a whole bunch of old family photos. They're not in any particular order. And we know face recognition can do a pretty good job of, putting together, photo that has a person like photos that have the same person. But are there tools that are sophisticated enough to also go that extra step and actually date the faces of a particular person? That is, like, order photos,
This
older
is when Aunt
photos,
Sally
newer
was 20.
photos.
This is when Aunt Sally was 40. This is when Aunt Sally was 60, that kind of thing. No, I've never seen anything like that. That would be really cool. I don't think we're far off from that, by the way. In fact, I bet you current AI models could do it. Somebody's just got to write it, and here's where we are right now with AI. It's really interesting. The capabilities are limitless. And so now people have to decide, well, what do we want to do first? People have to, it's not just you can say, okay, AI, tell me how old Aunt Sally is. You have to kind of set it up to do that, and then you have to build it into some photo software. What a great idea. What a great idea. I have, unless somebody in the chat room knows, I've never seen anything like that. It could pick up Aunt Sally really well. In fact, Google Photos will do this. Apple Photos will do this. And Milio will do this amazingly well. I can give it a picture of my son, who's 28 right now, with a big old mustache, and it will recognize pictures of him as a kid, and even in many cases as a baby,
right?
Which is remarkable. So it's not that far from saying baby, young adult, middle-aged, old age. I have to think that that's even possible right now. It's just somebody has to incorporate it in. The company, I would pay attention to Milio, because it's really interesting to watch. I think at their peril, they keep adding new features. And Susan's dialing in. We'll get Susan on here. Yeah. I'm glad you called, Susan. So I think at their peril, because one of the problems I have describing Milio is it can do so much. They've just made a deal with LDS, the Church of the Latter-day Saints, to give it access to the LDS database. And I think that's very interesting, because now you can use it as a genealogy tool as well. And you can share it with family members. I think that this company has decided we're just going to do everything we possibly can. So if anybody we're going to do, here's your daughter at age 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it would be Milio. It might be Google. I think it's just a question of prioritization. I honestly think they have the capability already. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks very much.
Stay
Leo.
tuned. I'll tell you what. If somebody does that, I'll tell you. I'll announce it, because that's a great idea. I think you've come up with a really great idea. Yeah, thank you. Wouldn't it be cool? I mean, not just people, but if it could look at a picture of a house or a picture of downtown and say, yeah, that was between 1936 and 1938. Somebody who's paying attention could do that by the model of cars. If you had a big database of pictures, somebody like, Google Street View had a big database of how houses look in different eras. I don't think it's too far off. I think that's something we're going to be able to do in the near future. You're watching Ask the Tech Guys. Micah has the day off, but we will continue. I will soldier on solo, as I did for so many years on the radio. It's funny, you don't do it for a while, and you get used to having somebody else with you. And I miss it. I miss having Micah here. Now, Susan is somebody who's called in before. She has a very interesting business. In fact, Susan, I am gonna be sending my mom's photo albums to you soon. She helps people take their family photos and digitize them, but more than just a kind of a scan cafe where they just take it out, scan it, take it out, and scan it. She really is an archivist, coming from your many years doing something very similar. Hi, Susan. Welcome back.
Hi, Leo. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah. Has anybody done that where you could take a picture and say they're 6, 10, 20, 30?
So it's all in your organization, and you can always tag individuals once you figure out, the date of the photo. So I use Lightroom to camera scan and tether my camera. And so when images come in, then I have to physically organize those digital files by year once I figure out the year. So I organize the physical photos first. I think we discussed this earlier. So that I flip them all upside down and I look at the dates, I look at the size, some have scalloped edges, whatnot. So you're organizing your physical photos first, right? Gather them all up, organize them first, then put them into batches. And I have a batch card system that lets me number the different batches. And this could be by an event, could be by year, could be an envelope that somebody wrote some information on that I need to keep track of. So you batch them and then you scan them. So however this person is going to get them scanned, then the digital organizing step begins.
But that's very human intensive and you have a lot of skill. For instance, scalloped. That's 1952 through 1968, right? You know that kind of stuff. It's one of the reasons I want to send you, and we've talked about this before, not my mom's pictures. I said, I'll take them out of the albums. You said, no, send the whole album because there's clues all over the place in that album.
Exactly. Right. So there are recently some up and coming software that the photo managers have been aware of. And I am beta testing some of them where they're supposed to be able to help you date images.
See, and I told you somebody was going to do that. That's cool.
So one of the companies is Image. Let me make sure I have this correct before I tell everybody on. So it's IMAIGE.com.
Oh, it's Image with an AI in the middle.
Yes.
I get it.
And so they are in the process of helping you use AI with your photos to date images as well as figure out locations and whatnot. So
this is exactly what we were talking about.
Right. And so this is one tool. So I'm happy to talk to the gentleman. I have a free 15-minute consult on my website. Anybody can.
What's your website again?
It's saveamemory.photo.
All right.
And so this might be something that he looks at once he gets his whole collection digitized. And I again use Lightroom. And so as I'm physically looking at my screen of all my digital files, I am creating folders and I'm looking at those images and I'm putting them into decades. If I can narrow it down to a year within that decade, so instead of 1960, let's say, I know when someone was born, because what I do is I have sheets of information.
Look at that.
Where people fill out, who the important key people are in their photo collection that they gave me. So I know when they were born, when they were married, and if they passed away, when they died.
And that gives you huge goalposts or markers to know, it's going to be between this and this. That's brilliant.
Exactly.
But that's a lot of human skill. I mean, that is and it's probably expensive because this is taking a lot of your time.
Well, this is what people pay me for. I consider it a white glove service because I do all the work for you to get your catalog organized. And then I also keyword everything, and then I backdate your digital files. So when they come back to you as high resolution JPEGs, they're already keyworded and backdated, and then they'll come into the photo software the way you need. Now, I will say, and maybe you can help me on this one. My life right now, I'm all Apple except for one older yoga laptop that I have in case I do have to interact with. Plus, I'm running Parallels for Windows. But anyway, when I hand off my thumb drive to a client and they're on Windows, they can't always see easily the EXIF data.
Oh, the EXIF data. Interesting.
So on a Mac, if you plug in that USB thumb drive, you can go right to the search box and you could type in one of the keywords I've tagged and it will pull up all those images.
I get it.
But you can't do that in Windows Explorer.
Right.
So you have to have some sort of library software program, a library cataloging program that will allow you to access that EXIF data.
Yeah, that's a limitation of Windows, isn't it? Not
right.
Yeah, because they just didn't build that into Explorer.
Right. Now, somebody did share with me, and they can't seem to figure out how they did it, but there was a workaround to allow Windows to cough up that information.
Interesting. I am not familiar with a way to. There might be a plugin for Explorer. I wouldn't be surprised. A plugin to read EXIF data for Explorer. I think Explorer could be extensible that way. That's interesting. Okay. You may know about this tool. I mentioned it before on the show. This is a really useful Mac PC tool. It's for modifying, reading, writing, and editing meta information. It's by a guy named Phil Harvey. It's called EXIF, EXIF tool. And what's interesting is it will support the standard EXIF. EXIF is extended information. That's a standard. But there's also IPTC, which is the journalistic standard. There's also XMP sidecars. There's a bunch of other profiles. Photoshop has its own. There's even things like ID3, which is what MP3s use. And this will support all of them. So this might be a shortcut for some of your Windows users. You can run this on Windows. And so it can be used to look at all of these various forms of metadata, move them back and forth. It's kind of a higher end tool. It's not super easy or super graphical, but it is super powerful. And I think it might be more for you than anybody else. I don't know. Let me see if there's
what I end up having to do is find them a final resting place that will be able to read and interact with the data that I've spent and they've spent money for me to do. For example, if you were to import it into Google Photos, for example, you may lose some of the facial tagging, and people aren't going to use Lightroom per se. Mylio works great, but all
of these are proprietary extensions. That's the problem, right?
Well, no, it's some programs just don't recognize EXIF data. So
this is interesting. In Windows 11, you can view and edit EXIF in File Explorer. In the Details tab, I'm going to put a link to this in the show notes. This is from like goldenrod yellow sweet.pages.dev. But I found this. Robert Rodriguez has written a fairly long piece on how to see EXIF data in Explorer. Now, you're right. It may not show everything. Again, that would be a flaw on Microsoft's part. There's also something called Metadata Plus, which allows you to do this. So, and it will extend. Looks like we'll extend Explorer, and even Microsoft Edge will do this. So there are ways to make this visible in Windows. I think that it's better to use the standard. If you use Lightroom to do that kind of stuff, it's going to do it. Lightroom has its own sidecar, and it's going to do it in a Adobe sidecar, and that's not necessarily going to be visible.
That's if you don't save your metadata to the file.
So it'll let you, but will it store the file in a format that can be read by other programs?
Well, so I work with the raw file up until the point that I'm ready to hand it off,
then I export it,
and I make it a JPEG.
Right.
And then they get a 600 PPI
nice.
JPEG.
It's very high quality JPEG. Yeah.
Right. But so I'm struggling with realizing some of my clients with Windows, they handing off that library unless they get into a DAM, a digital asset management software, or photo software. Sometimes they can't enjoy everything. Now, I do also look at trying to get individuals to think of their future legacy. So you're talking about the Swedish death cleaning and all that. And that has to, you have to look at your digital collection as well. So one of the softwares that I've been working with is a company called permanent.org. And once you buy a certain amount of gigabytes for long-term storage, you can then assign a legacy contact. And so this is great for those family photos, not your whole library collection out of Apple Photos or Google, right? Because that could be terabytes and not really affordable. But, if you're looking at 50 gigabytes of data, you can buy it one time, and then it's you basically are buying a long-term storage location for your archives, and then you can add the stories behind the photos as well. And that's what I am suggesting that clients look at.
Yeah, and I think you're going to need some, maybe do some experiments to see what you can save in Lightroom that can still then be read in Explorer. And it's good you have that old yoga. Make sure it's an up-to-date version of Windows. File Explorer does have a details tab that apparently will show a lot of the, if not all of the EXIF data. So I think it's really
right. You can see it, but here's the conundrum: you cannot search and get a list of all things.
You want to search it,
right? I want to see my Aunt Jane or whatever, or I want to my grandfather, and I want all the images where he appears. And you can't do that with Windows Explorer. You can with Finder.
Yeah, so I'm looking on Explorer, and I have the details sidebar open, and then there's a properties button that can give you a lot more information, including you see all this EXIF information. So it is visible, but can you search on it? That's an interesting issue. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure how you could do that. This is not the most user-friendly UI. This is the old Microsoft style control panel UI, but that's what it does. This is the latest version of Windows, and that's how you get that data is the details sidebar and then properties. How could you do searching on that? That's a very interesting conundrum. This is why we like Mylio, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it is
get all your clients to use Mylio.
The entry level to learn that software is rather steep. So they've recently launched a new version of it. I'm not sure if you're aware, but they've allowed you to have different workspaces based on
yes,
tasks.
I have seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really helpful. You can get to the basic tab, and it gets rid of all the bells and whistles where people often will get lost.
I just saw that in an update, and it said, "Do you want basic?" And I said, "No, I want all the bells and whistles." But this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. I really admire the folks in Mylio because they just want to throw in every feature possible, but it gives you this problem, which is it does so many things. It's hard to understand. Mylio is a sponsor, we should mention, and I didn't know this when we first talked, but Susan is a kind of a official Mylio certified pro, so she actually has Mylio support services, and we'll do that in Mylio. 3 hours of customized setup and support on Mylio. That's really cool. Good for you.
Just to make sure that people get started with a good experience. And if you want to buy Mylio and get what they call concierge services, you can go to mylio.com and you can sign up for their concierge plan, and you will get one of several photo managers, and I am one of those that get handed off clients directly from Mylio.
Very nice. Susan's site, saveamemory.photo. And but there is really no, I think, at this point, replacement for the human touch. What you do is quite remarkable for your customers. I'm glad you called. But
have that caller check on image, IMAIGE.com.
That's so interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the realm of where I believe photo management is going to be moving. Is more and more AI tools.
Why not?
So,
why not?
Yeah.
And if you could do it locally, even better. Then we don't have to hand over Aunt Sally's picture to Google.
Right.
Yeah. Very interesting. I mean, look, we know it. We know the capabilities there. It's just somebody's got to surface it and make it easy for you to use in some way. But we know that capabilities. Google's definitely got that capability in its photos. It's funny, when the face recognition first became a thing, Google was very careful not to release a feature that would let you take an arbitrary picture and say, "Who is this?" because of the security and safety issues of having a stranger say, "Who's that hot chick?" and then looking you up. Google could do it. They know how to do it. They've got the tools to do it, but they will not surface that. And they're right. They're absolutely right. I can't see any reason why you shouldn't be able to date a photo, though. I think that would be so cool if you could take a photo and say, "Oh, that's somewhere between 1956 and 1958." And Google has the information to do that. They've got the street view. They've got everybody's photos. But again, they may be reluctant to show their power, their real power, because that would be scary. Susan, always a pleasure. Thank you for the work you do. Saveamemory.photo. Thank you, Susan.
Okay. Thank you.
Have a good one. You're watching Ask the Tech Guys. Leo Laporte. Micah Sargent has the day off. We'll be back in a moment. Or next, or right now. But first, the chloroseptic wore off. I am not sick. I just have a tickle. You know what it is? Next time I do Swedish death cleaning, wear a mask or a dust mask, because there's a lot of dust in all that stuff. And I have had just a lot of dust in there. What do you want me to do next, John Ashley? It's time for John Ashley, producer amazing, producer miraculous.
Miraculous. I want to do another voicemail.
Let's do it.
Hi, my name is Gary, and I'm from Gary, Indiana.
Wow.
Probably third time I've ever called. And I'm 68 and fighting off pain, but I'm about to try to build a PC with my grandson.
Oh.
I haven't built one in 15 years.
Oh.
Okay. Need a site or sites for tutorials. Motherboards I've always used were Asus. Are they still the ones to use? And any other information about building this PC? Thank you.
What a great project, Gary from Gary. Our old friends at PC Perspective, Ryan Schratt and Alan Malventano, have moved on, but they still publish their hardware leaderboard. So this is PCPER.com. And then if you go to their hardware leaderboard, they have a variety of systems from the top of the line dream system, no compromises, all the way to the high end, the mid range, and the low end system. And for each of those systems, they have the component recommendations. Now, this doesn't mean you have to do this. You can easily, modify it. But what it will do is give you the information you need. So, for instance, let's say you're going to build the mid-range system, the $1,000 system. This is their motherboard they recommend, the ASRock. But what's great is when you click it, you're going to get information about it, pluses and negatives, pros and cons. And there's no reason you can't say, well, maybe I'm going to go a step up from the ASRock to the Gigabyte, and you can see that. So I think this is very valuable. They have a lot of reviews at PC Perspective as well. And in every one of these cases, they've looked at the hardware and they've reviewed it so you can see what their opinion is on it. I mean, there are lots of places you could go to get this kind of information, but this is somewhere I've pointed to people to in the past. It's a very easy, simple way to, just get a list of components to put together. And it depends, Gary, how ambitious you are, how much research you want to do. But certainly it's a great starting place. You could say here, well, I can't afford that high-end system, but I think a mid-range system for $1,000, that sounds not so bad.
There's another service I could actually recommend as well.
Yes. How many PCs have you built?
I've only built 2 in my lifetime, but when I built my most recent one, there was a service I used called PC Part Picker. It's a little more advanced of a service, but what I like about it is it does have some guides as well of like builds that they recommend.
Nice.
But there's also people that built their own PC.
Oh, I've used this
well.
before. Yes.
And what
I've
I
seen
like about this
yes.
most is when you put different parts in, it can actually tell you if there's a compatibility issue with certain
That's
things.
the big one, isn't it? Because you can buy a motherboard that won't support the processor you want,
or you're getting the wrong RAM for your machine.
You want to get the right RAM and so forth. Yeah, I have used this site. This has been around for years. Great site, PC Part Picker. You're right. This is for more advanced. I'm not sure Gary's done it before, obviously, but I don't generally these days tell people, "Oh, build your own." You're not going to save money, and it's going to be harder to integrate it properly. Go to a good custom PC builder, and you're going to, get a Falcon Northwest or somebody, and they know everything. They're going to put it together right for you. But there is one exception to that, and this is your perfect reason to do this, Gary. Your grandson. You want him to understand how this works. You want him to have the experience. And so I think this is a great way to do it. If you feel less confident, I would do both, right? PCPer.com. And if you kind of know what you're doing, or you just want a broader range of things, what's nice about this is it'll also price it out. So you can do the builder, PCPartPicker.com. So you do the builder, and you're actually. I wish we'd had this when we did the Ultimate Gaming Machine. This would have saved me a lot of time and trouble. By the way, John Ashley, we are giving away, as part of our Swedish death cleaning, the last Ultimate Gaming Machine we built, which I think was in the brick house, wasn't it, John? No, not that. That's mine. That's my own build, the Beast. We have one at home. It has an HTC Vive VR controller. It was built for the Oculus, I think, way back in the day. I don't know what the components are. Do you remember us doing that, John? Yeah, it's been a while. It's a good-looking computer. Anyway, if you want it, John, you can take a look at it.
We'll talk.
It's fun. It's fun getting rid of all this stuff. I realized I have 5 different Kindles. No one needs more than one Kindle, really. No one. Actually, I'm really liking that new Kobo Libra 2 color that I bought. I really like quite a bit. So I'm kind of leaving the Kindle behind. I'm using a great open source program called Caliber to move all of that over. And it does a great job. You can move back and forth. You can import your own stuff. It's open source. Caliber ebook management. I don't know how I got onto that. Gary, what a great question. Have fun with your grandson. And remember, whatever you do, do not touch the computer while it's plugged in. Make sure it's unplugged. And I bet Gary, Indiana, I never, and I bet you didn't either, John Ashley, wore the bracelets to ground yourself, because we just don't, it's not a dry climate. But I wouldn't be surprised if in Gary, you might want to make sure you do a grounding bracelet so that you don't accidentally damage these things.
Well, in my place as well, there's actually a hardwood flooring as well that I just...
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it. Linus Tech Tips does have his how to build a PC guide. If you want a YouTube video for that kind of thing, I think Linus is pretty good. I always wonder a little bit about whether the components they're using are components they prefer or sponsored components, but I think you could trust these guys, right? Certainly one to look at.
The one thing I would recommend is to not have Gary. Do not look at the Verge Ultimate PC build video.
Is it? Oh, that one. They got in a lot of trouble for it, didn't they? They put things in upside down. Somebody made that video, didn't really know what they were doing. Somewhere I have a my build your own PC video from 30, 40 years ago. I don't think anything in there is useful anymore. I did cut myself at one point, and the people who were making the video said, just keep going. It's okay. Blood everywhere. No. Next, should we take another call or go back to the email?
You were giving me a little bit of a fun flack when I could have that one person's email. So maybe we could go through a couple of them. Maybe
let's do a speed round. Hello, Leah and Micah. This is Chris, Club Twit member. Salute. Originally from London, but currently, get this, sailing across the Atlantic from Namibia to Brazil online with Starlink. Wow. He's probably there by now because this is dated January 30th. So I think he's probably in Brazil. Congratulations, Chris. That's cool. Sailing on what? On a cruise ship or on a sailboat? I got 12 to 15 great custom ringtones, which I use as personalized ringtones for my family and friends. For example, the theme from Veep for my wife. I do. My wife has a custom ringtone. I'm a flirt. That's a good one. And my daughter does. It's good because then when they call, you know, oh, I got to answer that. However, I signed some of these a while ago. Can't remember all of them. Is there any way to find out which custom ringtones are assigned to which contacts? In other words, a reverse search is kind of like some of the questions we've had already today. He wants to look at the ringtone and see who it's assigned to. I don't know of any way to do that. You can go through those contacts one by one and see. It depends on how he did it. He doesn't say if it's iOS or Android, I don't think. But, yeah, he doesn't mention. But I'm going to guess it's iOS. You can go through your contacts and see where you've assigned the ringtone. But I don't think there's any way to go through the ringtones and see which contacts. How interesting is that? How could we do that? Maybe Micah could come up with Micah and Rosemary could come up with a shortcut on iOS today. I'll ask Micah. A shortcut that would go to each ringtone. That's what it would. You could do that. Actually, it wouldn't be that hard. You know the name of the ringtone. You need something that can search through every contact and find the ringtone and then give you. I think you could write a program to do that. Tell you what, if shortcuts won't do it, maybe I'll see what I can do. Fire up something. That's a good one for a programmer to do. Reverse search on ringtones. Don't know of a off-the-shelf answer, though. Good luck on the sale. Jeremy's writing from Saskatchewan. I'm using the Edge browser on my personal Windows 10 laptop, my iPhone 14 Pro Max, and work laptop that has Windows 11. Wow, he loves Edge. I've set up 2 Edge profiles, one with my personal email, the other with my work email. I can't seem to get the syncing to work properly. This is an Edge question. You saved an Edge question for me, of all people. When I log into either Edge profile on any of my devices, am I not supposed to see the same tabs open? I've tried the option in the Edge settings to delete the local data and then resync with Microsoft servers. Doesn't seem to help. I'm guessing, I wouldn't be at all surprised. The profile is designed to sync bookmarks, but it doesn't, maybe history, but it does not, I bet you, sync the open tabs. So, and that's what you want. You want open tabs to sync, right? I'm going to ask Paul Thurrott, but it's in all the cases where I've used browser sync, it's selective. The browsers don't necessarily sync everything. Let's see if we can do a little query. I'm going to ask Scarlett Johansson for Edge tab browser sync. Scarlett? Keep your favorites organized and more. Yeah, I'm thinking that sync Microsoft Edge tabs across devices. Aha! Here's a YouTube video. You know why I hate YouTube videos? Because you have to watch a long video before you get to the thing that they could have told you in one sentence on a web page. This is from Computer Everywhere. Says he can sync Edge tabs. So I'm going to have to apparently have to enable it. First, okay, good. Open the Edge web browser. Oh, this is one of those videos where he doesn't talk. Then click the 3 dots. Then click Settings. Then click Sync. It has to be told to sync tabs. And apparently, Open Tabs is not selected by default. You can also enable history. So there you go. Did not know that. Look, this is good to know. I could do this a little bit faster by opening Microsoft Edge and showing you. Come on, Edge. Here we go. Here we go. Now, if I go to the three dots and I go to settings, there are sync settings. And, you know, I am syncing open tabs. So, and I'm sure I haven't messed with the defaults. So that's interesting. So maybe you accidentally turned yours off. And that's all you have to do is turn it on. It is on by default, Jeremy. I have all of them on. I want everything to sync. Wallet assets, apps, extensions, history, passwords. Yeah, it should. It's supposed to. Turn it on if it's not. John Ashley writes, Leo, it's time for a break. No. All right. I will do a couple more emails or maybe a call or two when we come back. You're watching Ask the Tech Guys with Leo Laporte and Micah Sargent. All right, Mr. Ashley, you're in control. Another email? All right. He wants us to get through this entire stack before the end of the day. Todd writes, with warm regards, I might add. Hello, Leon Micah. Listening to your show for a very long time. I've learned so much from you. Thanks for your innovative, informative, funny, and captivating content. He thinks he's running a Lewis Black, probably. My question. My friend and I have recorded 9 episodes of a new podcast, Best Motorcycle Roads. Cool, Todd. YouTube.com/@bestmotorcycleroads. He calls it a podcast, but it's a YouTube. Is it a YouTube or is it a podcast? Are they the same now? I think they're the same now. Before we get too far down the road, we are wondering what we can use to make a searchable page, database, or whatever, so that we can easily find the topic, subject, and products we've talked about in previous episodes. I know that your website offers the ability to search previous episodes because I've been able to find answers to many of my questions over the years. Thanks in advance. So, yeah, you need a website. Now, one way to do this, maybe, there's a lot of ways to do this. There's almost an infinite number of ways to do this. You want to make a searchable page database. So many websites do support search. If you created a website that had a page for each show, if the website had search, then people would be able to do what they do with our website. So really what you want to do is find a website builder that will support search. Squarespace, WordPress, Google's Blogspot, all 3 support search across pages. I think it's really down to you making show notes, and you could easily do that if you've got the YouTube video. In fact, the easiest thing to do is get the YouTube transcript, right? And put that transcript on the show notes. People are going to be able to search the text. That'll be very fast. I would still, if I were you, I would still put some links. What do you do, John? Do you put links in? You do on our
in the show notes.
Yeah.
Well, we put the links onto the show note page, not into the transcript directly.
But we do put transcripts as well.
Yeah.
So if you go to our website, Ask the Tech Guys, and you go to a particular show, let's see the last show, you'll see at the bottom we have notes, bullet pointed notes. This is actually an artifact of our particular software, which I'm not crazy about. What I'd like it to do is have the bullet point with that's clickable, but we don't have that ability. So then we have links separate down below. Ideally, where it says Bitcoin Pizza Day is this week, that would be right here. That's just the way our kind of junky software works, I guess. I never understood why we designed it that way. In the old days, maybe if you listen to the radio show way back when, I used a wiki to do this. And that might even be a good way for you to create a website. If you had somewhere to host it, somewhere like DigitalOcean, to create a wiki website, there are quite a few programs that will make you do a wiki. Wikis are easy to edit. You can have collaborative editing, so your other hosts can edit as well. Which one did I use? I'm trying to remember. There are quite a few. I mean, it really depends on what you wanted. So this is interesting, this one. Wiki.js. This uses GitHub. GitHub has a free feature called Pages. So you could create a free, depending on how technical you are, website with GitHub and then put this software on it, wiki.js. Makes it easy to edit, easy to put in links. For years, this is how the Tech Guy website ran. Probably for the first 5 or 10 years of the Tech Guy show. Because I was doing it all myself. So that's another idea. All you really need is a place to make a web page that has search. I would absolutely save your transcript from your YouTube videos, have a link there. If it wouldn't be enough to have a link to make it searchable, you'd actually have to paste the text into it, I think. So you could do that. You could have a series of, today on, what was the name of it? Today on the podcast. Today on Best Motorcycle Roads, we covered 4 roads, X, Y, Z, and M. And so you have links to those. And we talked about a great place to stop for a beer on one of them. And you can have a link to that. And then the full transcript is below. Paste the transcript. That way, when somebody searches your website, everything that you said is in the search, as well as those main links. Many, many, many ways to do this. But those are some of them that I would look at. We use a content management system called Drupal. It's a little hard to use, a little complicated. I'm not sure I'd recommend that. I think really he was probably mostly interested in me saying youtube.com at Best Motorcycle Roads. The name of the new podcast. That sounds cool. You know what? Let me go pull that up.
You're welcome. Podcast.
You're welcome. I like to support other podcasters. Why not? Best Motor. My friend is actually about to go on a motorcycle journey up the coast. Look at that. Planning your 2024 motorcycle riding season. They've got YouTube Shorts. Yeah, you need a web page. So this is part of the problem of doing this on YouTube is they do so much for you that you go, hey, look, all we do is record this, put it up there. We got, but you want a little bit more. You need a web page. I think every podcast should have its own home on the web. And there's another reason to do that. If for some reason YouTube goes down or blocks you, or somebody comes along and says, hey, that's my show, you always have the website. Go out and get bestmotorcycleroads.com. When people ask you about your podcast, instead of saying youtube.com/@bestmotorcycleroads, say, oh, it's bestmotorcycleroads.com. And then you can link from there to the YouTube videos. That's fine. But you want people going to your place first because you control it. You don't actually control your YouTube page in the long run. Another one? We're running out of time. Darren, hi, says Darren. Hi. Like many, I have ideas, but all my life, I have not acted upon them. I'm so sorry, Darren. Today, I'm going to start acting on an idea, and if it works, great. If not, I'll have some fun learning and doing it. He doesn't say what happens if it works great. Let's see what the idea is. What's the possibilities? I have an M1 Mac, and I'm looking for some video editing software where I can annotate onto the video, circling items, or adding arrows. I want to keep it simple. I have Final Cut Pro on the iPad, but I'm not finding an easy ad. No. So this is something you do while you're recording the video, not after the fact in editing. Could he? I guess he could add graphics after the fact.
No, there are plenty of plugins for Final Cut nowadays where you can add in those types of graphics. You have to pay for them. That's the problem.
Right. Oh, I can afford Final Cut Pro if that's what you recommend, but I'd rather not shell out $300 right now.
I mean, it's a single license, one-time payment only, though.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I would do
Not on the iPad, it's not. It's a subscription on the iPad.
Right.
Unfortunately, thank you, Apple. Final Cut Pro and Logic Pro used to be the best deal in the world. You paid once and you owned it forever. I still own it on the Mac, but I have to pay a subscription to use it on the iPad. What about something like OBS and doing it live? Does that seem like too far-fetched? That's what our friend Alex Lindsay does. In fact, when Alex designs my studio, I'm going to have him put a telestrator into it.
You'd have to have 3 Macs running different. This is how he has 3 Macs running different aspect of different things.
Yeah, it's probably too complicated. That's more expensive. I'm just thinking that, is he recording the video and then he's going to edit the video and add stuff?
You can do it either way. That's the thing.
Yeah. Would it be better to do it as you're recording? Maybe not necessarily.
I don't think so, no. Because what if you mess up?
Does Resolve, which is free, DaVinci Resolve, does it have a way of annotating after the fact? I bet it does. This has to be table stakes for a video editor, right? So Resolve is free. Here we go. Use live drawing to draw on video in Final Cut Pro. So it is actually built into Final Cut. Discord says, let's look at that. Let's look at that link. Thank you, Scooter X. This is an Apple support link. Use live drawing to draw on video on Final Cut with iPad. Oh, nice. You could use your finger or a pencil. What? Record a live drawing clip. So it sounds like Final Cut is definitely one way to do it. There are many video editors, though, for the iPad if you don't want to buy Final Cut, but you certainly can do this. We'll put a link in the show notes. Thank you, Scooter X, to this Final Cut Pro user guide for iPad page. Use live drawing to draw on video in Final Cut Pro. Nice. And that is on iPad, which is what he wanted to do. Obviously, you can't do that on a Mac because it's not a touch screen.
He still has to pay for the subscription.
What's a free... Is there anything free for the iPad? Like Clipchamp or something like that? Clipchamp is Microsoft's video editor that you can actually use on a website. So you could use it on an iPad. Let's see if it has that capability. I don't know if it has drawing. I bet it does, though. Doesn't that seem like something everything should do? How about Adobe's, what is the name of their free video editor? I can't remember. Yeah, Clipchamp's a web app, the Gallagher points out, but that's the advantage of that. Because it's a web app, you can use it on the iPad, right? Maybe not?
It asks you to browse for a file. Load the file to the web page. How do you do that on the iPad?
You just, with the Files app, you can't do that?
I don't know. I haven't tried.
All right. Here is Meredith Marsh's video. Thank you, Discord. See, I'm never alone. I always have the Discord and Scooter X. This is a video from Meredith March. How to write on top of Visuals with iPad. Use my link for a 30-day trial. Well, that's the sound effects. How is she doing this?
I've been doing that in my YouTube videos, is adding my own handwriting over top.
Look at that. Isn't that cool?
While I'm talking. And I've been having a lot of fun with this and incorporating.
What program do you use there, Meredith?
Drawing and some sound effects to really add to the fun effect. And what I really love about this technique of using your own handwriting on your YouTube video is nobody can copy it. No one can take that style.
Okay. Well, I'm going to leave this as an exercise for you. It looks like you need a green screen background. So she's using keying. She's using Final Cut Pro. That's what she's doing. She's using Final Cut Pro. Darren, there's some ideas anyway. There's some ideas. We're not going to get to the last. Come on, let me do one more.
Hey, I don't make the calls on that one, Leo.
We already did this one. So we don't have to do it again. This is from Scott. Hi, guys. After 9 years on my current Dell XPS 15, it's time to upgrade. I mostly do CAD on my current laptop. That's not GPU intensive, but in the future, I want to run AI models locally. I've been looking at framework laptops and wonder if one of these would be a good choice. Certainly, framework is great because they're modular, they're upgradable. But these days, if you want to do AI locally, you really want an AI dedicated processor. As I mentioned, the HP using one of the Intel Core Ultra processors. Intel has just recently added machine language capability, what Microsoft calls an NPU, to its processor. The Qualcomm Snapdragon Elite X looks like the top of the line NPU at this point. You could look at a laptop, and it won't just be Microsoft. Surface, of course, is out, the Surface Pro 10, using the Snapdragon Elite. But I would also look to some of the other big manufacturers, including Dell. They will be putting these out in the next few weeks, literally. Those would be good choices. Having the NPU on your laptop really makes a big difference in terms of the speed and capabilities of the LLM, of the machine language, of the AI tool. Now, it is the case, and our own AI guru here, Anthony Nielsen, is always saying this. He says, Leo, you could do a better job with a NVIDIA graphics card, a GPU, than you can with an NPU-enabled computer. The problem is a laptop, you're not going to be able to put a very fast, powerful, energy-hungry NVIDIA video card onto it. So if you want a laptop, I would say get one with a Snapdragon Elite, the new Qualcomm chip. That's got the NPU built into it. They're claiming 40 TOPS and better, 40 trillion operations a second and better. That's quite good. Down the road, there'll be even more. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think you want to run your AI models locally. That's the way to go. And I think we are now out of time. Meredith is still explaining how to draw on her videos, but if you watch that video, you can find out. Michael will be back next week. Unless he's been doing Swedish death cleaning, in which case, who knows? You never know. I will be back next week for sure when we do Ask the Tech Guys. We do this show every Sunday from 11 a.m. Pacific to 2 p.m. That's 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 1800 UTC. You can watch us do it live, youtube.com/twit/live. All our shows are live from the moment they start to the moment they end. If you're a member of the fabulous Club Twit, you can also watch in the Discord. In fact, I encourage you to join Club Twit because there are lots of benefits, and it makes a big difference from our point of view to our bottom line. We're really hurting. I hate to say it, but ad dollars have cut more than, I think they're 1/6 what they were, believe it or not. I just did the math the other day, and it's not good. So we do need your help. But you also get some benefits. We really try to make it worth it. Twit.tv/clubtwit, $7 a month. You can watch us do everything behind the scenes. Plus get ad-free versions of all the shows, access to the Club Twit Discord, which is a great community of wonderful people, plus Twit Plus bonus content. Twit.tv/clubtwit. Of course, you can always get a copy of the show at our website, techguylabs.com. That redirects to twit.tv/ATG. You can watch the YouTube video. There's a dedicated channel for Ask the Tech Guys. Best thing to do, strong recommendation, is to subscribe in your favorite podcast player. You can choose the audio or the video version, but that way you'll get it every week the minute it's available. That's it for this edition of Ask the Tech Guys. If you're watching live, Twit's coming up next. On behalf of Micah Sargent, I'm Leo Laporte. Thanks for joining us. Have a great geek week. Bye-bye.